Hello there and a very warm welcome to this cricket.com match review. And I hate to say it, South African fans, but you've been dismantled by 8 wickets by Team India in the first one in Joburg. And as you can see, the guests, Wicketkeeper and Somesh, will get into it. Of course, you guys are joining us on this Sunday evening. Get cracking in terms of your comments. We've seen so much of action, even though it's a brief one-day international. This is a 92nd one-day international India played against South Africa, and it's some solace because the pink ODI came and went like that. Thanks pretty much to Arshdeep and his fifer. He didn't get a single ODI wicket in his first 3 games, and then he's got a fifer. Avesh getting 4, Kuldeep getting 1, and India getting the job done in exactly 100 balls. So well done, Team India. And Sai Sudharsan, remember, debut and 50 for him as well. Wicket at Som. I didn't expect to see you guys this early, but nevertheless, your assessment of this game. Somesh, I'll start with you.
My cup of tea is waiting, and I was just about to take the first sip, and I was like, no, it has to wait a little more. So it has been that sort of a day. Pretty convincing win. Overall, loved how Arshdeep was able to get those wickets because, see, the point is we discussed it in the preview as well. There is potential, but it's good that he's getting these sort of performances in. It'll help him get some confidence moving forward because, like you specifically mentioned in the preview, that he's one of those rare left-arm pacers that we have. So good to see him, performing. Good game for Avesh, and I know Gurkirat messaged us in our private chat that maybe this will sort of push the selectors towards a test recall for Avesh. I won't be surprised, especially after Shami's ruled out. All in all, good game. Sai Sudharsan getting a solid 50, looked well. He looked really, really good. Those drives through point. It's rare. Indian batters don't play those shots. So it's a good sign. It's a sign of a batter who can actually who has those wherewithals to counter swing as well. So that's a good sign.
Absolutely. We'll talk about it. And Gurkirat, I just want to ask you about that South African capitulation. Was it shot selection? Was it really good bowling from Avesh and Arshdeep because they got that elongated spell? I think he bowled 7 overs in the trot, Arshdeep. What do you put it down to? Because South Africa were pretty shambolic.
It was a bit of everything. Arshdeep got movement, so took use of it. And then when you thought that Zorzi is doing well, he played a false stroke. Similarly, Makram, I don't think that was a great ball, but just that Makram tried to cut a ball that was very close to the body. The follow up delivery to Mulder was very good. Miller's dismissal again, playing away from the body without any feet movement. So the good thing for India is, more than the figures, would be that you've not associated a lot of control from either Arshdeep or Avesh in recent times. So for them to bowl like this in conditions where there was help, it would really settle some nerves in the management in terms of, okay, at least this headache is something that can be improved. And my point about Avesh is that India do need someone who can hit the deck. Prasidh, when he played those T20Is, did not show a lot of control. So if he continues to struggle in the red ball games that are going to happen before the test matches, then I think the temptation to play Avesh or get him in the squad would be a lot, especially with no Shami being there. And if he bowls like how he did in the next 2 ODIs, I think the temptation to definitely get him in that scheme of things would be there.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, Prasidh has got a fifer in a red ball practice game that went on right now.
That's good signs for India then, because then they'll have a problem with plenty. And like you said, Avesh, maybe he's catapulted himself into that test squad already. There's so many Indian players right now in South Africa. It's quite crazy. Apparently 70 players, if you include all the net bowlers and everyone, which is probably the largest Indian contingent ever.
And for a 2-test series.
For a 2-test series. And it's obviously, like we spoke about in the preview as well, the way it's kind of factored in the T20s and the ODIs as well. Guys, if you actually look at Avesh and Arshdeep going ahead, do you think they are the guys to take the mantle over from your Bumrahs and Sirajes and your Shamis? Because they still have a lot of age on their side. Gurkirat's in mute.
Yeah, it's too early to say, and there's not a lot of age difference between Avesh and Siraj. I think it's 3 years.
Yeah.
So with Arshdeep, you can still say, but still very early. And you mentioned that how Arshdeep did not get any wickets in the first three ODIs that he played. Avesh last played ODI cricket in 2022 versus South Africa at home when the main Indian squad was in Australia for the World T20, and he had actually bowled well in that series, but did not get enough wickets. So today, I think he got the reward for those games as well. Most importantly, I think this performance is very important for both to just help them settle their nerves a little bit. You've often felt with both of them, especially with Avesh, that if they don't get wickets early, they end up trying a lot of things and then they start spraying the ball around. So getting wickets today should hold them in good stead for the next two games.
Interesting. I just want to talk about Sai Sudharsan then, boys, because a lot of comments coming his way, and understandably so, because on 50, it's good to see the boy get 50 on debut, I should say. Sai Sudharsan getting 50, but I want to throw some trivia to Somesh and Gurkirat right now. Can you name the other Indian openers to score 50 on ODI debut?
Uh,
Robin Uthappa.
Yes, against England 2006. There are two more.
how many are there? Two more. Okay. Um KL scored 100. Does that count as a 50?
Yes, I'll give that to you. Zimbabwe 2016.
Yeah, so there's only one. And I think Mandeep opened with KL and they did not get out, so he must have also gotten a 50 plus score. Or
You're
was it
close
Karun
there, but
Nair?
it's not Mandeep.
Was it
Yeah,
Karun
yeah,
Nair?
Faiz Fazal. No, it was Faiz Fazal actually who opened
It
with
is
Okay.
Faiz.
KL.
It is Faiz
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fazal.
because 4 5 players made their debut in that game.
No,
yeah.
100%. But yeah,
No,
good on him.
but I
And
mean, yeah,
go
watching
on,
Sai
so.
Sudarshan, I was reminded of an incident that Justin Langer never fails to not narrate or never fails to narrate.
Okay, which is
It was I think it was his test comeback. He was plumb in front. The umpire did not give him out, and he went on to score 100. And it was he was pretty sure that if he did not score runs in that game, he would be out of contention. Something similar. I mean, you need some luck to sort of survive at this level. And Sai Sudarshan got that luck. He was dead in front. It was not given out. It wasn't reviewed, and he made it count. But good on him. He looked good. Uh, it's a really. I mean, it's a couple of years back for 20-year-olds to sort of get into the Indian scheme of things. But I think lately, in the past year or so, this has been changing. We see Yashasvi Jaiswal sort of cementing his spot in two formats. We see Tilak Verma getting opportunities ahead of other senior players, and now Sai Sudarshan. So it's good. It's good on Indian cricket that they are not waiting for players to be more
I
okay.
think we have lost.
I think we've lost Somesh because it was kind of he's in Firozpur, if you guys are wondering, and no wonder his Wi-Fi is a little shit. But we'll of course try to get to Gurkirat. But Sudarshan's chat over there. He's tall, he's elegant, he's not like a typical Indian top order batter, right? I know we have Parikal also if we really need to go down that route. But do you see that as an advantage? Going ahead, he can of course play the longer formats too, but the ODI is probably the best format to bleed him through.
His numbers have been good in first class, so maybe he could be, but yes, ODI format is one where it's easy to blood in him right now because you definitely get that sense and feeling that the main team will not be playing. So the more number of runs that he gets in this format, the better it would be for him. But there are some comments coming in how it's not just the drives, but the control with the drives and them not being lofted, which tell you that how much in control was he of his shots. And we saw this even in the IPL. He had shots square of the wicket. He was picking the spin well from the hand right now. And if I'm not wrong, I think it was in the emerging Asia Cup where he had good runs as well. I think in the semis he scored 100. Not sure how he did in the final, but uh, yeah, so he did. And I think in one of the leagues game he scored 100 versus Pakistan, so he was scoring runs even at those level. So like Jaiswal and I think there are these people, in the age bracket of 20 to 22 who have shown that they are clearly cut above the rest of the domestic circuit. So now their only test will be at the India A level or these games where the main team's not playing. And even if a few failures happen, it is important that the management sticks with them, because sending them back to the domestic cricket isn't going to help them, because they've already shown that they're clearly cut above the rest. Which is why, we keep talking about and harping on the India A tours and games, because that is where you will be able to separate those players who are definitely a cut above the Ranji level or the Vijay Hazare level, and the ones that can take the next step to the international cricket. So you'd have to hope that now, those tours are given a lot of preference and importance, and then the filtration of players can happen accordingly.
Okay. Lots more comments trickling in, which is good to see. Amit Gupta has just joined the chat. And Nuralax Vasan saying, I think that Arshdeep is the only second bowler of India to have a fifer in foreign countries. And KL is captain. Some up people are doing good things under him, getting back into form with him. And it's a question that is also kind of clogging the chat. Sri Hari asks it. I think another one asked us a similar question, Som. With Shreya sitting out of the next two games, who makes it then? Will it be Rinku or will it be Rajat Patidar?
At this
So
point of
I
time,
I was going to give that to Som, but yeah.
I think
yeah, maybe Gurkeet can take it. I mean, yeah, go ahead, Gurkeet.
I think at this point of time they are likely to go ahead with Rinku, given playing Sky at 6 did not work in the World Cup. With Hardik, you are never sure how much cricket is he going to play, how much batting is he going to do, because it's not that Hardik was in great batting form. He had that one good innings versus Pakistan in Asia Cup, but that's about it. So, and they also, you feel that with Indian cricket there will always be a lot of players who would be able to bat in the top 3 or top 4. It is at the 5, 6, 7 position where you struggle to find consistent batters who can deliver day in and day out. So I think with Rinku doing well in the other formats and having some decent form behind him, I think he'll get the nod first, rather than Patidar, because uh, say Shreyas is not available at number 3, you have options. Tilak can bat at 3, Rutu can bat at 3. Kohli is still playing. Kohli is not gone anywhere. So that is there. So I do feel that Rinku would be the one who gets the nod first, just because the lack of options for a number 6 batter, as opposed to the lack of options that the not the lack, but as opposed to the number of options that you have for the number 3 spot or even the number 4 spot, however way you want to put it.
Shouldn't it be an obvious one, Som, in Patidar slotting in there, despite what Rinku's done?
Oh, actually, it's not that obvious. I tend to agree with Gurkirat here because we did discuss this in the preview as well. Uh, Similar thoughts that finding a lower order batter or a lower middle order batter is even tougher. If you're playing Samson at 6, you are force fitting him there. He's not a natural number 6, uh, and it is unjust to expect him to come good at that spot, because even today, I mean, he didn't get a chance to bat. Now, again, I go back to the previous point that whenever he'll get a chance, he'll get a handful of balls to show that he belongs. Whereas Rinku has already done that job in the T20 scheme of things. He's doing that for his IPL team as well. So he's more a role of a finisher comes more natural to Rinku. So if you're looking for someone at number 6, you'd rather play Rinku and give Samson an opportunity to play higher up the order. So
So do you think
Tilak can
that'll be
then
the
bat
case in the second ODI?
I think so. Tilak will be 3. I think KL will move a spot above to number 4, and maybe Samson will then bat at 5.
Okay. I mean, if that happens, great. I was actually thinking the other way around, where Samson just replaces Shreyas and takes his position as one down, which would be
That
great.
is also an option, but I don't think pushing. See, in that case, KL should just be at 5 because I
Yeah.
think Tilak should not be lower than 4 in any of the formats.
Okay, fair enough. Lots more questions coming in through, which is good to see. Introspect saying, do you think Nandri Berger will get a bidder in the auction? If yes, then who? I mean, still early days. Obviously, he went wicketless today. We've seen a little bit of him. Nick spoke about him quite a bit in MNL about the SE20. But I'm not sure. Maybe we've seen funny things happen in the auction.
Which team does he play for in SA20?
I think he plays for the Durban Super Giants. Berger.
That means Lucknow. So, uh, see, he might get a bid if it but it all depends on the timing when the crop of pacers come up, because he has the raw pace, but
Sorry, he plays
even
for the Joburg Super Kings.
yeah, so he
Uh,
plays he like he has the raw pace, but he's still a very raw product, does not really have a lot of control. So even if he makes it to the squad, it would be very difficult to see him fit into an 11 straight away. If a franchisee is getting him for base and they feel like, we can work with his potential going forward, then maybe they can take him, but not as a first player at this point of time.
Okay, fair enough. By the way, there is news trickling through with Ishan Kishan now withdrawing from Test, but personal reasons. So, could you probably touch upon that?
yeah, I think it's just the case that it was made clear that KL Rahul would be playing ahead of him and would be keeping as well. So I mean, might as well. I'm perfectly fine with that move, unless of course KL is injured and then there's a spot that opens up. Then maybe Kishan will rue the missed opportunity. But other than that, it just stamps the uh, role for KL that he would be the first choice keeper. So nothing really to think there.
Yeah,
But
because Kushan.
I'm a little this personal reason thing has been a little it has become the new niggle because I mean in Deepak Chah's case, I mean I don't know. I mean if there is any emergency, I'm completely in supportive with him. But the way he bowled in the first game, it was pretty clear that he's not 100% fit. The game
Okay,
he
yeah,
played against Australia.
Australia.
yeah.
I think it
Okay,
was the third T20I or the fourth
Yeah,
T20I. The
yeah,
fourth one, the fourth T20I that he played.
bench warming
See,
fatigue.
also at this point of time, I'd hate to be in KS Bharat's shoes, because you've played 5 test matches so far, 4 of them in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in India, where the pitches were not easy to bat. Then you played one test which was in WTC final
yeah,
for West Indies, where you could have had the opportunity to score runs, you got dropped, and now you've come in again on a foreign tour in South Africa, where again batting's not going to be easy
yeah,
if he gets a chance to play. So not sure how it helps any of the three keepers. I mean, at this point of time, you would have to say that KL's definitely the better keeper batter, and you feel more secure with him in the test squad. But on the backup front, you really don't know how it helps anyone. So
yeah. But the only reason I feel of KS Bharat's inclusion is maybe that he would be in contention again when England tour India. Because I mean, it's too early to say if KL or Kishan are ready to keep in India on ranked earners, which will definitely be on the cards against England. So let's see.
But would you still back KL then to play that 5 match Test series as a keeper, or
Nothing
do
to
you think
lose.
they'll
In
go
my
the
opinion,
Sahar route?
nothing to lose. Saha route तो नहीं हो रहा भाई.
No, Sahar
no,
route as in with KS Bharat, as in where they choose
no,
like an out and out keeper
see,
more than a backup
you
keeper.
can try that. You can try that. There is no harm in it. But that basically means that at this point of time, KL is your first choice keeper batter in at least 2 formats. Now that is a difficult role to play, and you will not be readying any replacement. So if you want someone to be sort of a ready replacement or a backup, then you want that keeper to play these test matches. You would want
Okay.
that keeper to play those test matches, because at this point of time, no one has an idea when Pant really gets fit to play top flight cricket. I know the talk is there that he'll be fit for the IPL 2024 and everything, but is he keeping, and how much would he play? Ideally, I would have liked for him to play 1 month of professional cricket minimum before playing in the IPL, because IPL is not easy. You can't take it as any other tournament. You have to travel probably the every second day, and it's not easy on the body. And those months of April and May, they're pretty hot in the country in most places. So
Yeah, I agree with you. More comments coming through. Neural hacks going on to say, Avnish, please take my comment earlier. Should KL bat at 3 if they see like Tilak is 4 on a long time? This allows the team to play Samson at 5 and Rinku at 6. Boys?
I don't see a difference between batting 3 or batting 4. Okay. The problem is, for a keeper to then come in the top 3, it becomes very difficult, especially if you're fielded first. I know there are players who've done it. Gilchrist has done it. You see, sometimes in the case of inevitable collapse you have to walk in early, so it's still manageable in ODIs and T20s, but not so much in test matches. But I personally don't think there's a lot of difference between batting at 3 or 4. If anything, you could get tested more against pace and movement at number 3 than at number 4.
Okay, I like those thoughts. Good question as well. Mrinal Kanti Mahato going on to say, what is the future of the 2077 ODI World Cup? We know it's in South Africa. What else do we know? So, do you think it's going to happen actually?
It's too far in the future to say anything. The
But
fact that
I'm
it's in
guessing.
South Africa is something that puts a giant question mark. If it would have been in England or Australia, I would have said that it is definitely happening. So let's see. Maybe at least the 2027 World Cup is probably something that still might happen. I'm not sure what will happen after that.
You never know. This could be the first ever World Cup where we see a 40 over ODI game and the format just moved to 40 overs. And let's see, because we remember when India won the World Cup in 1983, it was a 60 over affair, and then they won it in 2011, which was 50 overs, obviously. So maybe it's going to be shortened, but only time will tell. We did, of course, get a couple of comments earlier in the preview. We apologize for taking those comments with regards to the Hardik Pandya Mumbai Indian situation with Rohit Sharma. I just want to pick the guys' minds right now about that situation in Mumbai Indians. How is it all fizzled out? And did you guys see this coming when Hardik was eventually traded in? And are there more skeletons coming out of the closet? Somesh?
I think for me it's a non-issue. It's an as obvious thing as it can be. It was always bound to happen. Something that, I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it on our shows, but personally, whenever we have discussed this, Avnish, you know that I've been of the opinion that if Hardik is coming back to Mumbai Indians, he's definitely coming back as a captain. There's no chance of someone who's led franchisee for 2 seasons, has won it once and was the finalist in the other, to come back and play under some other captain. It's not going to happen. I mean, this is IPL we're talking about. This is not uh, no, this is not Premier League where Mumbai Indians have been around for hundreds of years and someone from Everton just now wants to come and play for United just because of the legacy. Itna bada bhi koi legacy nahi hai, bhai. Of course, the fans would disagree, but at this point of time, it's pragmatic. Let's be honest, Rohit has not been sacked. Calling it a sacking is unfair. If some team is planning for the future, this is not a sacking. It's just they are now planning for the future, and which is a very positive move, and you have to accept like that. I know there are certain players who sort of through social media have made their displeasure pretty obvious. It's bound to happen. Everyone have those ambitions. Everyone would want to lead a franchise like Mumbai Indians. But let's be fair. I mean, if Hardik Pandya was a usual member of this team, he would have been the right choice after Rohit anyway. And now, since they've done this move, this is how the market works. This is how the dynamic of any league sport works. So I don't see anything wrong in it. Whatever skeletons, whatever, I mean, people taking a piece out of Mumbai Indians, I don't agree with it at all. I think it's just very pragmatic, and it's just the cricket universe, which is not which are not used to things like that. They are used to players playing, captaining till they can't even take the field, till they are absolutely useless to their teams, till they are asked, "Bhai, ab retire ho jao, bhai." So the cricket fans and everyone is used to those things, and when they see something being done very professionally, they're just not able to buy that or digest it, and that's the case that's happening right now.
But one second, Gukita, just before you jump in, why is there so much anger then with regards to the Mumbai Indian fans? They've lost followers on social media. Is it just because of the Rohit factor? The fact that, yes, he's been pretty much one of the best captains ever to grace the league. And it makes you think, why the hell are Mumbai Indian fans flipping out with this decision? Is it not
I,
gone
I
down
think
well?
I think it's a lot to do with the with Rohit's performance in the World Cup as well. Had Rohit not had such a good 50-over World Cup, I think the reactions would not have been this drastic. And I'm not sure if the reactions are this drastic anyway, because ऐसा नहीं है कि everyone has lost faith in Mumbai Indians and all their fans would not be following Mumbai Indians. Because let's be fair, I mean, right now, if you really talk about people following a franchise because of a player, Rohit's connection with MI is nowhere in comparison to Dhoni's with CSK or Kohli's with RCB. MI fans are still the fans of the franchise and not the player per se, which is not true as I
But
see it
MI
in.
fans would still want Rohit at the helm, right? They still want him to captain because it's the proof's in the pudding. So he's got 5 titles for them.
But
See,
it's, I mean, you have to plan for succession at some stage, and why wait for later if you can do it right away?
Gurkirat?
See, I think the anger is basically coming out from the fact that just 2 days before that news came out, it was MI only who posted Rohit's message for the World Cup and everything. So on one hand you do that, and then 2 days later, you remove him as the captain. So it's it, it's a lot to digest straight away now, especially for those who are very passionate. They have lost some 500,000 followers on Instagram, but if you look at it in the context of percentages, they were from 13.3 or 13.4 and came down to 12.7, 12.8. What is it? It's not even 5%. And you will always have, such percentage who are more of fans of an individual rather than the team. uh, on a cricketing sense, it's a good decision because Rohit's going to be was 37 in April, and to be very honest, from the after the 2015 IPL, he's not pulled his weight as a player. And you can keep talking about the 5 trophies and anything and everything, but the trophies were won by the team and not by Rohit himself. Because if it was just down to captaincy, then they would have managed to win in 2022 or other tournaments where there was no Bumrah or players had injuries. So it's he's won it, yes, but you cannot pin all those titles on his shoulders alone. And there is that bit. And I think why people are taking the piss out is because, like I said, 2 days ago you posted that whole message where people felt that it should have come from his own account, because you were speaking on the behalf of or probably as an Indian captain and not as a Mumbai Indians captain. And the anger towards Hardik is probably because when he was the Gujarat Titans captain, he said that in Gujarat he wanted to inculcate a culture which was very similar of CSK, where you get average players and get the best out of them rather than getting the best players and then getting the best results. So it's also down to the fact, I think people just believe and trust anything and everything that comes out of the players or the teams or etc etc, where a lot of these things should be taken with a pinch of salt. So it's mostly that. I think, it will this all of this will be in the talks for maybe a week, but come the IPL, then I don't think these things will be an issue. However, I feel one big consequence of this is that now I don't see Rohit playing all the games for Mumbai Indians
No,
in
that
the
was my
up.
next question. Do you think it's time for him to move on to a franchise come the mega auction? Because there have been rumors that the Delhi Capitals would like to go for someone like Rohit. And imagine that,
Delhi
reinstigate the
Capitals,
confidence.
Delhi Capitals one day will play an 11 of all 11 openers, and no one would be surprised. So there is
But
that.
Rohit Sharma back to Delhi. I mean, not back to Delhi, but to, of
I
course.
I, I
I
don't
mean,
think I don't
why
think that
would
will happen.
why would any franchisee go to that extent? I mean, what's the point? I mean, it's not like Rohit has 8 years ahead of him,
And
whatnot. And
the only franchisee that you could say is comparable for Rohit to make a shift is CSK. When you have been among the one of the two top franchises, why would you want to go to a franchisee
Yeah, but you wouldn't
which
go to
is
your rival, right? Why would you want to go to your rival?
I
I
I
know
I think
Naidu's done
so.
it and Harbhajan's done it, but pretty
why
sure
would you
Rohit.
allow I mean, if he's released in the mega auction, he doesn't have a choice. The team that will bid for him will have to go and play, unless and until he says specifically that I'm not playing, unless
Or
he
he
puts out a
takes
Or
a
he
massive,
does, or he does
yeah,
what Hardik
or
does.
unless, see, Avnish, the point is what happened with Hardik is very different. I mean, it won't happen with
Hardik's
every player.
31. Rohit's going to be
Yeah,
But all
37
I'm
in
trying to say,
April.
it's
see,
player power, right? KL's also done
the
the same with LSG.
not really.
The- these cricketers have years of at least 5 to 6 years of cricket ahead of them. You can't say the same for Rohit.
And
And I,
actually,
I think if he asks for a trade and goes to Delhi Capitals, unless you're coming in as a capacity of a coach where you think that you will be able to run the team entirely, I don't see how it can help. Why would you really want to? If and there is no guarantee that from there on Delhi will be able to win. If Delhi don't win and end up in the last three teams or at the bottom in the next two IPLs that he's there, it's his legacy that he's spoiling. So for Rohit to go to a franchisee like Punjab, Delhi, even Bangalore for that example, it's not going to help him anything.
You know, I
Yeah,
have I have exactly three thoughts here. First, I completely agree that this should have been handled with a lot more maturity, which Rohit deserved. I mean, they should have done it in a lot more sophisticated manner than just making a, what, tweet, or just news
Instagram
agencies making
post.
this an announcement, which is not fair on someone who's sort of won you the title 5 times. Because I mean, it's not Rohit himself who did it, but he was the captain, and ultimately the success and failure first lies with the captain and then the rest of the team. So that is not a good picture, not a pretty picture, and that is the reason for all this uh, animosity that has certainly developed. Second, about Hardik and people not being happy with him and whatnot, and him making comments about how he want to inculcate CSK's culture. Now, at this point of time, there is no single cricketer in the country who does not want to use MS Dhoni's name in any of the interviews that you pick anyone. If he's playing as a player, batter, Dhoni भाई ने ये सिखाया. If he's playing as a finisher, Dhoni भाई से सीखा. If he's playing as a captain, Dhoni भाई से सीखा. No one would take any other name. No one. They won't take name of Rohit Sharma. They won't take name of Virat Kohli. Everyone just wants to use Dhoni's name because they know that there is instant likability. The guy has zero haters. People might not love him to the same extent as others do, but there are just zero haters as far as I see. Whatever, I mean, and on social media, getting haters is very, very easy. The third point, मैं भूल भी गया third point क्या था. Third point is, I mean, the point that Hardik was traded and paid millions under the table to get Hardik is because we have to accept this, Hardik is one of a kind player in Indian cricket. There are so many like KL, there are so many like other players, or even Rohit Sharma, where you feel that some team might want to buy him under the table. It's not going to happen. No one is going to go and spend as much bucks, play gamble to an extent of tarnishing their reputation, unless and until it's a player like Hardik. The only one who comes close is maybe Jasprit Bumrah. Apart from these two players, I see no reason for any franchisee to make such sort of efforts, play millions under the table to get a player.
Gurkita, where do you stand in that? Because it's interesting what he's brought up about the whole Dhoni factor as well, and how certain players use that to their advantage. We've seen it with Hardik before. And going ahead, how do you think Hardik's going to come back into Mumbai and marshal those troops? Because Rohit will be one of them, and he knows the other boys. Will it just be like taking like a duck to water? Do you think there'll be a little more obstacles in his way, should we say?
So, on the first bit about players using Dhoni name, forget players. You have people on LinkedIn drawing Dhoni analogies which are not even accurate just to get a lot of engagement. You see broadcasters doing it. You see aggregators on social media doing it because they know that is the name that sells. Easy engagement, easy, everything is easy because now engagement also pays. So I'm not saying that everyone lies, but there is, a good enough reason to use that name and, try and develop some sort of a following. So there is definitely that. As far as Hardik, becoming the captain and how things are going to be like for him. See, I don't think he's tactically very astute. It's something that I've brought up over the 2 seasons of IPL. But when you see that Mumbai Indians setup, you see that a lot of backroom staff is involved in data crunching and numbers. So you expect him to get that help and then maybe, back his instinct or gut on the field when plan A or plan B is not working. Whether there will be obstacles in terms of managing player egos could be the case, but it is the case in a lot of leadership positions, where you have bigger superstars than you and everything. Uh, that could be a challenge, but if you look at Mumbai Indians, or if you look at that setup, you expect a lot of players to be professional. And if you are professional, then maybe if you don't get along off the field, you'll still do whatever you want to do on the field and get that job done. We've seen how there are a lot of differences now from the 2011 World Cup winning batch. they all of them have things to say, etc., etc. And we see, like, sometimes it can even get ugly, but they were able to, maintain a sense of unity and professionalism about their job on the field, and that got the job done. So that is what matters. You do not need to be best of friends to succeed on the cricket field. Wasim and Wakar uh, never got together as best of friends. I don't think Gilchrist and Vaughan were either as best of friends, but they still got the job done because Gilchrist had to keep to Vaughan. So that can happen. It's when you become mature, when you become professional, you just learn to keep those differences aside and egos aside, and and work towards the common goal or the objective.
Yeah, I mean, good
Okay,
that
well
Gurkirat
explained.
mentioned Gilchrist's example, because he was the vice captain when Steve was the captain. And look
Yeah.
who succeeded Steve, Ricky Ponting. They bypassed Gilchrist altogether. And yet Gilchrist was Ponting's, ally
Yeah, he
till
was
the
still
very
the
end.
vice captain. He was still the
Yeah,
vice captain when Ponting
yeah,
was the captain.
yeah.
For sure, guys. I mean, this chat can go on and on, but really good to, of course, get your insights about what's happened earlier, not just today, but of course, earlier with the week, with all the IPL chatter heading nicely to, of course, Tuesday. And just a kind reminder, we'll be doing a watch along for the auction. Join us then. And not to forget, tomorrow as well, Monday Night Live, plenty of things to talk about. Gukirat, you just want to sign off by saying
Yeah,
something?
just want to tell the viewers that we'll probably do the preview and not the review of the ODI game that day. So there is that, because there's also the India South Africa second ODI that day.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. And please like this video, all you lovely 50 people watching on a Sunday. India have not failed to disappoint. Yet again, in a bilateral, they go 1-0 up, draw first blood in this pink ODI. And Somesh, Kukirat, really appreciate your time in this match review. We'll leave it there, guys. If you guys have just joined us, just rewind 15 minutes ago and check out what Som and Gukirat had to say about that whole Mumbai Indians saga, which is going on right now, in this little bonus that you've got in this match review. We'll leave it there. And actually, come on, United. Come on, United. Get it. Cheers.